Welcome to the FitBiz Accelerator, your ultimate guide to launching, growing, and scaling a thriving online fitness business. I'm your host, Tobias. And whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, this podcast is packed with actionable tips, real-world strategies, and the insights you need to crush your business goals and build the business of your dreams. Now that you're here, let's dive in. Welcome to the FitBiz Accelerator podcast. I am Tobias Young, and this is the show where we give fitness business owners the tools, the strategies, and insights to launch, to grow, and to scale a thriving fitness business that you love. So today, I have a very special guest, Jenna Larson, and Jenna is the co-founder of GroupTrack CRM, the first socially integrated CRM designed to help business owners like you attract more clients directly from social media. And Jenna's expertise has helped countless entrepreneurs and fitness professionals build authentic relationships, streamline their whole DM process, and actually turn conversations into paying clients, which we all love, right, you guys? So in this episode, we're going to be tackling a key area for fitness coaches, and this is systemizing your DM process to generate more sales. And if you've ever felt like your inbox is overwhelming or that you're missing opportunities to convert followers into clients, then this is the episode for you. Jenna is here to share her proven strategies and frameworks to be able to help you stay organized, provide value, and close more sales, all while freeing up more of your time to focus on doing what you ultimately love, right? Coaching your clients. So grab your notebook, get ready for actionable insights to transform your DM game and grow your business. Let's dive in. Jenna, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi.
Yeah, to start off, can you share your journey from corporate life to becoming an entrepreneur and co-founder of GroupTrack CRM?
Yeah, it's actually like crazy. And yeah, it's like total accidental, which is like the funnest part about this. So I had been in a corporate position for 10 years. I literally was like the top of the business. I had like the best results in terms of retention and collecting money from our clients and all sorts of things. And I literally would finish my job by 11 o'clock every day. And so I was like, I'm never leaving. Like, this is amazing. Family, easy, best results. Like, why would I ever leave? But for me, I was in church one day and God knocked on me and was like, okay, it's time to go. You're going to start your own business. And I was like, no, sir, wrong girl. Like, I'm good. Like, I think you're, wrong girl. And so, he was persistent and was like, no, you're doing this. And so I literally walked into my boss's office one day and I was like, so God told me to start a company, so I'm quitting. And he was like, what? And I'm like, I know, sounds crazy, right? But he was like, okay, well, why don't you stay here? We'll pay you their full salary while you start your company. And I was like, even better, right? But he was like, the results we get from you in, half time are more than what we get from most people. So we're happy to do it. So I was like, okay, this is amazing. So I started my first company, which is called Drive Performance Coaching. And I basically took everything that I have learned through being a collegiate athlete. I coached at the collegiate level, and I also coached former Olympians. And so I was like, well, let's just take that same craziness that I bring in my coaching world and I'll bring it to business. And so I really combined my coaching plus my corporate world and experience. And that's what I brought to my first business. And so I literally just help business owners get their stuff done, right? Because if you guys are familiar with rowing, I'm a coxswain. And so what that means is like, I'm the person that's literally going to make you work out till you feel like you're going to die and then push you harder and make you do it. Like, so I was like, okay, well, I was made for this role, right? And so I rolled that business out. I absolutely loved it. I thought, oh, okay, God, this is it. Like, this is where you wanted me to be. And soon found out, no, that was a stepping stone. That was actually really cool. So what started to happen is I was teaching my clients exactly what I learned in corporate, which is client acquisition is great. Like, we want to get more clients, but what we really need to do is keep them buying because that's where the money is, right? And so I was teaching my clients how to use a CRM, which for those of you who don't know is a client relationship management system. It's a fancy way of saying it's like a technical spreadsheet where you follow every single person that you're engaging with, whether you're a lead or a client, and just kind of systematically moving them through your pipeline. And so I was teaching them how to do this on social media. Well, the problem was there was no system or CRM that lived on social media. And so my clients were like, holy smokes, Jenna, the strategies you're teaching us are working. We have so many leads, so many conversations, so many clients, but you kind of have created a problem, which is that now we're overwhelmed beyond belief, right? And so we would hear these stories where Johnny's driving on the highway and is like, oh my God, I totally forgot to message Sally back. She said she wanted to buy my offer, but I forgot. And so we were losing money, right? And so my clients were like, okay, this is great, but like, right? And so I was driving to a holiday party and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, like, wait, this is $1 million idea. We need to create a system that lives where our people are, which is on Facebook and Instagram. And so I was driving, I called this guy, Nathan, and he was a private client of mine that I had been consulting with. He had a different software company and I was teaching him how to get clients. And I was like, oh my God, Nathan, I have this idea. We have to build this on Facebook and Instagram. And he was like, you're crazy, not possible. It'll never happen. Like, you just can't do it. And I was like, well, that's stupid, right? Like, that's not the response I wanted because I'm sitting here thinking like I have $1 million idea. And so I went to my holiday party. The holidays happened. 2 weeks later, Nathan reached back and he goes, Jenna, I did it. And I'm like, you did what? Like thinking we're talking about his business. And he's like, no, I built the CRM. And so that was almost 5 years ago. And so within about 6 months, we launched this new company, GroupTrack CRM. And, we started with this tiny idea of just managing your leads in a Facebook group, which is why it's called GroupTrack. And it has now evolved into this like unbelievable thing where now you can track your leads, whether you're using your personal profile on Facebook groups, your DMs, Instagram. And shortly, we hope to move to school and LinkedIn and really become the social CRM. But it's such a fun story because, it's like I thought that first business was it. And then it was like, no, that's a stepping stone to get you here. And so GroupTrack has just exploded. It's been crazy. We have amazing people like you, Tobias, who are using our tool. And it is just the coolest thing because we get to work with such innovative entrepreneurs that are like serious about changing lives. So that's the story. Isn't it crazy?
That's crazy. It's a beautiful story too, and I love that. And it turned into that $1 million idea.
It sure did.
We're going to be we're going to
Yep.
be diving into that later, which is so fantastic. And you give so much value to your audience too, because you're doing live trainings every single week on just teaching them different tools, different strategies on how to use it. So like once you are a part of the GroupTrack family, it's like the thing that I love about you is you continuously just give back so that way they can utilize the tool at its full capabilities. Because whenever you have a tool, it can be great, but if you don't know how to use it, it's going to sit there and then that's where your churn will happen too.
Yeah,
So,
100%. We tell people like, GroupTrack is amazing. And when you see it, like, this is the reality. When people see it, they buy it because they're like, holy smokes, we've never seen anything like this. This is crazy, right? But we like, a lot of times people are like, wait, Jenna, you're the founder and you say GroupTrack is worth $0 unless you actually have a strategy and use it. And I will scream that. And that is exactly why we do our trainings, because the reality is, a lot of the people that are coaching on how to get sales on social media, they really just focus on like content and going viral and all the things. And I'm like, cool, content is great, but not unless we convert it, right? And so we teach a lot of those strategies. And yes, we use a tool. Yes, we use automation, but our number one focus is keeping the human in it because that is what's going to convert. People want to be connected to the human, just like you're talking about with our family, right? And that is like the biggest compliment you could ever give us. I actually had someone join our coaching program the other day and he's like, I don't even use GroupTrack, but the only reason I joined is because I was like, what is she doing? Why do I feel so connected? And how does she create this environment where people are just so drawn into the story and the journey? I want to do that for my community so I can get the same results. And so you literally just made my day by saying that you feel the value and the love in the group because that's our number one mission.
Yeah, 100%. Fitness coaches, fitness business owners, trainers, they often rely on social media to be able to grow their business. And why do you believe that DMs are such a crucial part of this journey?
Yeah, I think it's where you get to connect as a human, right? So this is the thing. Everybody is like trying to outdo and outplay and hack the algorithm, right? And it can be really frustrating when we put ourselves out there and our content's great and people are like, okay, this is cool, but they're not making money off of it. And so the number one thing that we teach at GroupTrack is anytime you post, whether it is a reel, like a just straight up post, it doesn't matter. every single person that engages with that should be getting into the DMs with you. And so we'll talk about some scripts on how to do that in just a minute. But here's the reality. I want you guys to think about this. If you and I were talking in real life and I said something and you commented back, I wouldn't just sit there and be silent, right? Like that would be very weird. And so our entire goal is we want you to start treating social media like you are having an actual conversation with a human, because the reality is you are literally speaking to a human. And so it's like, if you say something, why would I not, right? And so I want you guys to think about this, right? If you are, thinking about social media as like a party, or like even your gym, right? Let's say somebody has walked in the doors and you're having a conversation and it's loud and it's noisy. And then someone's like, you know what, Tobias, like I'm really struggling with like my quads. Like this is where I'm like, really, like I'm doing the things, but nothing's working. You wouldn't have this giant conversation in front of everybody in a public setting, right? You'd be like, you know what, let's kind of pull over to this side of the gym and have a little more intimate conversation where I can really understand, like, what are you doing? What have you tried? What's not working? And then if you're a personal trainer or if you've got an offer, you're going to be like, you know what, I have something exactly for quads. Would you like to learn about how to do that, right? That is exactly what we're replicating in the digital world by going from content into the DMs. We're getting out of the noisy space. We're getting into an intimate conversation where it's personalized, it's customized, and you're not just making a blanket offer. Imagine if someone walked into your gym and their goal is to get a bigger booty, right? Like that's why they came in, but you're just assuming that they came in to get their biceps good, right? And you make them an offer for biceps, they're going to be like, what are you doing? Right? You have no clue why I walked into your gym or why I care, whatever. Right? And so it's that issue that I see so many people are teaching, or let me just rephrase it. They're not teaching it. And that's why we want to like really disrupt this whole like go viral, da, da, da. I'm like, no. And this is the beautiful thing I want to share with you guys. My Facebook group, right, only has 5,000 people in it. And for some of you, that might feel a lot. For, a lot of people who've been in the game, it's actually low. My Instagram, you're going to die, has, I think, maybe 800 followers, right? But we collect over $1.2 million a year annually with zero ad spend. And I want to just like hope you hear the zero ad spend part. And so the reason I share this is because it's so possible with the right system and the right strategy. You don't need to do all the crazy things. You don't need a big audience. You don't need a huge team. You don't need ads. You just need a system to track your people and to do it on rinse and repeat. And that's where we drop the mic.
Bam.
Right?
Take some of that true sauce in your face. So everybody thinking like you got to have this huge following in order to make money. Let me tell you one thing, and I tell you guys this a lot. I know a lot. Obviously, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of fitness coaches, and some of the ones that have the big, huge social media followings don't make any money. Like they're broke. And then I have some that have like 800 followers and they're six-figure coaches. Like literally, it's not about the following. It's like there's so many other, key categories that we'll be able to dive into later. But, what are some of the common mistakes that you see, Jenna, fitness coaches making when it comes to managing their whole DMs for client acquisition?
Yeah, absolutely. So number one, they're not managing it. Like that's like just it. Like, let me just ask a really hard question, you guys. If I were to look at your social media page and I'm like, okay, you've got 200 followers, right? You might be thinking like, oh, it's only 200. Well, and I always take this from Molly Mahoney because I think it's hysterical, but it's like, if 200 people were sitting with you in the bathroom, would you tell me that's a small amount? Absolutely not. You'd be like, this is crowded. We got a lot of people in here. 200 people have clicked a button. They have taken the time to raise their hand and be like, I'm interested. And so my question that might be a little bit of a gut punch is, what are you doing with those 200 people? Do you have a spreadsheet where you've listed their names, right? Or better yet, are you tracking them in a system like GroupTrack? And I'm going to guess no. And so when you're sitting there saying like, I have no leads, I have no blah, blah, blah. Yes, you do, right? With love. And I know I'm yelling, but this is how I like come at people, because I'm like, if we just did this one thing, you would die to see like the results you would get, right? And so the biggest mistake I'll start with is you're not tracking the people, right? You are just kind of passively showing up, posting your content and praying that they're going to send you money. And so here's the analogy I always give, right? If someone were to walk into your home and you're like, oh, hey, Jenna, bar's over there, go ahead and help yourself to a drink. Even if I'm like, that kind of sounds good, I'm going to be awkward and be like, it's okay, I'll just take a water, right? Versus if I walk into your home and you're like, Jenna, I know that you are coming off a really big launch and blah, blah, blah. And I know that you love Chardonnay and I got you a glass. Would you like it? I'm going to be like, absolutely, let me receive it. And so the reality is, and I want you, when I say this, to think, I'm going to pause after I say it. And I want you to be like, crap, is this me? The majority of people that are showing up, whether fitness instructors or professionals or whatever, they're posting their content and they're saying, well, if they wanted it, they would help themselves to the bar, right? You are literally like, oh, get my thing. And you're expecting them to go into your fridge and whip up a drink. And they're not going to, right? Even if they know they want to get it, right? And so the mistake is that we're not actually following these people and then reaching out to every single one of them. So one of the things we recommend is every time you get a new like, a new comment, a new follower, you've got to track them and then send them a welcome message. And I'm going to give you the like ninja welcome message, Tobias. Like, nice. I don't share this with people that are not our paid clients, but we love you and you've been with us forever. So we want to serve your community. You guys, are you ready? Please get your paper, because this is going to like triple the response rate you get. Actually, it's going to be more because some of you are not sending welcome messages. So this will be new, right? So if you're already sending them, I'm going to triple it. If you've never done it, I mean, I don't know the number. It's way even more, right? Like you're going to be like, what the heck? This is stupid. Okay. So for every person who likes your stuff, follows you on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or joined your group, I do not care, right? You're going to send them a message and it's going to say, hey, thank you so much for following, Tobias, or following me. Thank you so much for joining my Facebook group. Thank you so much for commenting on my post, whatever it is that they did, right? We're going to acknowledge what they did. We're going to say, in case you're not aware, I help people get X result, right? So I would say, I help people get more clients on social media using blah, 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 right? You might say, I help fitness professionals scale their business, blah, 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 right? And so after we do our offer statement, we're going to say, I'm super excited to learn about what you're working on to see if we might be able to support one another. Not, I'm going to sell you something. It's, I want to talk about how we can support each other. Okay. Now here is the ninja hack. Okay. This is what you're going to say, like pencils out. Okay. We're going to say this. Hey, with all of the craziness with the algorithm, sometimes messages don't get through. Can you simply reply to let me know you got this? Guys, your response rate is going to be stupid. You're going to get the like, the loves, the thumbs up. Like we have people that are like received with love, like people get excited. And so here's the difference, right? What every other coach is going to tell you is to like get into qualifying mode, right? They're going to be like, what's your revenue? I mean, that's like our industry. For your industry, it's going to be like, what's your goal with fitness? How much money or how much weight do you want to lose? Da 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 da. And it's like, whoa there, sir or ma'am, right? It's like, we're not there yet, friend. I'm not going to tell you any of that stuff, right? And so when we send a message like this, it's like, oh, by the way, just let me know you got this. It's no thinking. It's a no-brainer. They're like, boop. Absolutely, right? Then the door is open, right? And so then what we want to do in the DMs is like turn the flashlight on them, talk about what's great with them, blah, blah, blah. But guys and girls, get the welcome message out, get the response, open the door for the love. Don't just send, and let me just pause for a second because I would love to like lovingly look in the camera and, in the mic and scream this other thing, especially in your industry. What you do not want to do, and unfortunately, there's a lot of fitness professionals who have really done this poorly, and it's kind of like, it's a thing that we are aware of, right? They are cold DMing people being like, hey, do you want to join my waitlist boot camp? Hey, do you want, and it's like, the recipient is like, I'm sorry, do you think I need to lose weight? So much so that like one of my colleagues and I, we made a reel that is like kind of making fun of DMs, right? Like what if you actually said this to someone in real life and we were like opening a door to like, it's so funny. If you haven't seen it, you got to look at it. But one of the ones we said was, one about my fitness program, you look like you need to go on a diet. And it's like unbelievable when you look at it as a real human to human. But when you DM for whatever reason, people think like, oh yeah, that's normal. And so again, that's why I always want to talk about bringing the human back into selling. We've got to create a human experience in the digital world because those are the people who are going to win. So it's all about that really great connection, starting the conversation off like a normal human that's not a weirdo, and then uncovering the needs. And we never make an offer unless we have uncovered, number one, they have a problem you can solve. Number two, they want to solve the problem. And number three, you've asked for permission.
I love those facts. And I agree with those, 100%. That's why we align on that DM process 100% in there. I love that template. And you guys, if you don't have an opening template and you're just like literally like freaking out because I have coaches that come to me when they're brand new starting the business. And I also have ones that are like scaling past 10K. So there's different stages in there. And if, in a lot of different stages, you see them where they're like, well, what do I say when they follow me or whatever? She just gave you the golden nugget, you guys. This is the golden nugget that you use inside your DM process. So thank you so much for that. And then also, like she was saying, don't shove a strategy call down their throat on the first sentence that like
Lord.
They're made like, hey, like, oh, by the way, let's hop on a quick call. And they're like, why? Like, yeah, you gotta dive deeper. So anyhow, a lot of fitness coaches and business owners and so forth, they struggle to keep up with their DMs, right? And I know you mentioned that. What's the first step that they should take in order to start creating more of a streamlined and an organized DM type system?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the deal, right? You send the first message, you're super excited, but if you don't know who they are or if they responded or what to do next, like you're going to be lost, like Tobias was just saying. So what's really cool about GroupTrack is every single person that you message, and let's just pretend you don't want to use GroupTrack for a second, which I can't imagine, but I don't even care. Like for the love, let's get a spreadsheet. Literally, Google Sheet is free. Put the name of the person on there, set up some stages that you would take them through your pipeline, track them there. Let me prove to you that it works. And then when you want to get like a little more sophisticated and automate and stuff like that, then grab GroupTrack, right? But the reality is you need to track each person and you need to track where they are in your sales process. So for example, we'll have like stages that we're going to bring each person through in order to get them from, hey, I just met you, right? All the way to they're a buying client, right? So our goal here is like, okay, if I have them here and I want to get them here, what are the exact steps I need to take them through? Like, what is the client journey? And not only that, but what do I need to do to get them there, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what we call stages within the pipeline, right? So the first stage might be identified as potential lead, meaning, all right, I've stalked their Facebook, I've stalked their Instagram, I think they might be a good fit. Let me put them in this stage. Then once I've sent my opening message, which is like, hey, thanks for following me or whatever, right? Then I put them in that stage and I know, okay, these are all the people who I've done my first outbound message to, our welcome message, right? Once they respond, I put them in the next stage, responded to, welcome message. Then I have my next stage, which would be uncovering needs. Once we uncover the needs, the next step that we would suggest that you do is not make an offer, right? Which might be like, wait, what? What we want to do once you've uncovered the needs is get them in front of content relevant to their problem. So again, I want you to think about it like this. Somebody walks into your gym and they specifically are like, oh yeah, I've been really struggling with my abs. It's really frustrating. I've been doing all these things, right? We're like, okay, cool. Well, we've got a workout for you that we would really recommend that's going to help you. Right? We would walk them over into the gym where the ab section is, right? Same thing with your content on social media, right? So if you've got a training that you did or a quick little reel or a whatever that may be that you can put them in front of for free to be like, hey, here's my 5-step tips to getting the abs of your dreams. Now they're like, oh my gosh, this Tobias dude, like he gets it. He's got a good plan and he gave this to me for free. What? Right? So here's the reality though. If you're a personal trainer and you drop them off at the ab section, do you just leave them there? No, right? You're like, hey, Jenna, I'm going to give you this cool training. Go ahead and do it. What I'm going to do though, is I'm going to come back over in a few minutes and I'm going to see what you think and what your questions are, right? We don't just leave them there. Okay. And so it's like putting someone in a dressing room at a high-end store. We don't just shove you in with a bunch of clothes. The associate's like, hey, try these on, see what you think. I'm going to come back and see if you have any questions or if you need anything else. So we're going to let them know. So we tag them in that training, that other piece of content. And then we're going to say, I'm going to come check back in on you. All of this can be done in the DMs, right? So then typically what we would do is we would place you in the stage in our pipeline that says sent relevant resource, right? And then we would set a task to remind us to follow up because we're not going to remember. And we do that in GroupTrack. And then we're going to reach back out. We're going to be like, hey, Tobias, we know that you're really focused on working on your abs. You're super frustrated. You've done all these things. Here's the strategy we gave you. What did you think? And he's like, whoa, this is cool, right? We're like, I know, right? And so our question is like, so is this something that if you did this consistently and added XYZ to it, do you think you would get the results you finally are wanting? And he'd be like, yeah, I could see how this is the answer I've been looking for. Great. Now we can just simply say, is this something you want to figure out on your own? Or would you like to chat about how we can help you implement this system to finally get the abs of your dreams? And they're like, yeah, I want to learn about how you can help me. I've been trying to do this forever and it hasn't been working. Great. Let me walk you to the checkout station and purchase, right? And so that's the thing, right? I think, again, the issue that we see a lot of these people doing is just like, number one, nothing, praying that someone comes to you and just throws money at you. Two, talking to someone and we're getting in the DMs, but we're not uncovering the needs. We're just making offers. Or three, like we don't really serve them at the level they should be. And so no one purchases. And this is literally what we do every single day, non-negotiable, to make our money. And here's the reality. People are like, oh, Jenna, how long do I have to be in GroupTrack every day? Well, I'm like, here's my real question. How long do you think you should be serving people and working your leads and, getting clients? Because the reality is you have to do these things, whether you use GroupTrack or not, use a spreadsheet. I don't even care. The reality is if you want to get clients from social media, you've got to do these things. The question then just becomes, do you want to do it faster, better, easier, or do you want to figure it out with a spreadsheet? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to know what stage everybody's at. And I see a lot of coaches, they do part of those things, right? So maybe they do the hand-raising posts and they're giving away resources. But then what's the key thing that they forget? They forget to follow up and they forget who got the resource. And it's like the lead is just like kind of like dangling. They're hot, they're warm, and then they're cold. And so the thing that I love about GroupTrack is that you can kind of like put all the pieces together and you can create automation and you can create, like different stages so you can know, oh, I got to follow up with these people. Whereas a DM inbox can get busy. It can get like where you're overwhelmed. You forget what everybody's at. And then you're just like literally staying all day in the DMs.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what people hate is because they're like, oh, well, I hate getting in the DMs. Well, it's because you don't have a system in place to make it streamlined.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can I give you like my daily thing that I do?
Yes.
Would that be helpful? Okay. This is what I do every single day to work my leads. And my team has to do the same thing, like non-negotiable. So number one, the first thing I do every morning is I open up Facebook DMs. Now, one thing that's really cool about GroupTrack is you can click a button and have all of your unread messages pop to the top. So then you only focus on them and you're not like having to scroll through messages. So I work those people first. I move their stage. I set a task for my next outreach for them. So I know that it's taken care of. I'm not going to lose them through the cracks. But let me tell you about this one little feature, right? I said you click a button and all of the unreads come up to the top. We had a client who had made a ton of offers. He sent all these outbound messages. We were so proud of him, like so cool, right? Well, guess what? The DMs got crazy. He got overwhelmed and it was like disaster town, right? And so we're like, Daniel, press this button. And so he did. He pressed the button and he found 27 people had said yes to his offer, but he never saw the messages because of the disaster. And so he never closed them. And I was like, for the love, how much money would you have closed if you had like followed up and closed them? You guys, it was $57,000. Like throw up money, you guys, because he pressed one button. Do you know what I mean? So the DMs are a disaster unless you have a really cool tool like GroupTrack to manage it. But that's what I do every day. So I go in there, click the button, my unreads go to the top, I work them, I do my next message with them, set a task, leave it, forget it, right? Then what I go do is work proactively, right? So I do my inbound messages, then I go in, I work my Facebook group, I let my new people in, send my welcome message that we just talked about, set tasks for them, and then I just work my tasks every day. Now, my tasks every day are just simply my next outbound message that I need to keep following up. And so here's one of the questions that comes up a lot. People are like, well, what if they don't message you back? And I'm like, so what? Who cares, right? That's not their job. Their job is to like decide if they want to take me up on my offer. My job is to make sales and make an impact. So I'm going to follow up until you die or you tell me not to, right? And so I'm just going to keep my going. And, you know, the reality is people are like, oh, but they read my message and they didn't write back. And I'm like, why are you even looking at that? Here's the reality. If you set yourself up for failure, you fail every single day, right? If you set yourself up to win, then you win every day. So my definition of success is not how many people read my DM, how many people opened it, how many people responded, how many people bought. I could care less. My job is to send the DM daily, right? I always tell this quick little story about my son, Riker. He was on a travel ball team for baseball. He was doing really well, but he got hit at the, you know, what am I trying to say? He was trying to hit the ball. He was at bat. Thank you. He was at bat and he got nailed, right? So he freaked out. So every time he went up to bat after that, he would back out and he would do nothing. He just froze because he was freaked out from this one bad thing. Well, being the freaking collegiate coach I am and like having coached Olympians, I was like, oh, I got this. Says Riker, I will pay you to hit the ball. Like hit the ball and I will give you money. And so guess what? He goes up, does nothing different. He just stands there and I'm like, what the hell, right? Like I offered you money, like hit the ball, right? And I'm stressed because I'm thinking he's going to get removed from the team. Like it was horrible, right? And then I was like, oh my God, Jenna, you are literally coaching to the opposite of what you teach, which is who cares about the results. Focus on the behaviors that we know get them. So then I was like, okay, Riker, here's the deal. Every time you swing the bat, I will pay you $5. I do not care if the ball is on the floor around the corner above your head. Swing the bat and I will pay you for every time you swing. And so guess what? Riker goes up there. He's like, all right, I'm going to make some money. I don't have to hit the ball. I just have to swing the bat. Like we're good. Swings the bat, hits the ball. Not only hits the ball, he hits the ball out of wherever it should be, right? And gets the game ball at the end of the day for having the best hit. And I was like, oh, thank God I still got it, right? But guys, here is the reminder. We don't care if you hit the bat, hit the ball. We want you to swing the bat, right? Yes. And so when you swing, you will eventually hit it, right? So that's how we work our DMs. We pay ourselves and we say, you did your job, you swung it, you sent the DM. We'll worry about that later because guess what? You do it consistently, they will buy.
Exactly. If you have, obviously the ultimate goal is you want to have clients, but then you're like, oh shit, how do I get these clients? Focus on what's the process is like having these conversations in here. This is the swinging the bat right here. I love that analogy. By the way, Jenna,
I mean, thank you, Riker, right?
Yes, Riker. Good freaking job. Way to hit that home run, right? and make mama proud.
Yeah.
Once a fitness coach, they actually have their DM system in place. How can they scale this strategy while still maintaining more of a personal connection with their leads?
Yes. Okay. So you've probably heard me say about 1,000 times, like, yes, we use technology and there is automation in GroupTrack, which I can talk about. But regardless, our number one mission at GroupTrack is to keep the human in the sales conversation, but to scale it, right? Because a lot of you might be thinking like, whoa, this is very personalized. I don't have time, right? So there are a couple features with GroupTrack that are ridiculous. Number one, we have a system that's called bulk messaging. And bulk messaging works whether you get our Instagram or our Facebook. And what that means is you can take a number of people and put them in a queue to receive a message sometime throughout the day. I want you to think about it like this, right? If you go to Disneyland to get on the Matterhorn, you get in line. Not everybody goes at the same time. They get in line for the ride, and when it's their turn, they go on. Same thing with the people who are in the queue to get their message. And we do that to keep you out of Facebook jail, Instagram jail, all of those things. So it mimics a human. It sends it every once in a while with potty breaks and all sorts of things built in, right? And so that automates the outbound. It does not replace you because here's the reality. We send the outbound messages automated to start the conversation. That's the robot, right? That's the AI that's helping you. But once they respond, then you're a human. So it is not a bot. It is not going to be like ManyChat if you've used that, right? Where it's like, they say this, it sends this. That is not what we are, right? And so that automation is amazing. I can't even imagine how much time it saves our clients by using that. The second automation that helps you scale that personalized outreach is our follow-up autoresponder. So for example, Tobias teaches you guys these rad call to action posts. I know because I see him doing it. I see you guys doing it, right? So you have that call to action post where you're like, dude, raise your hand if you want this thing, right? Well, for the love, can we now agree we're going to track the people who have raised their hand? Because the reality is they're literally saying, it's me. I have the problem you solve. I want to get this thing. They are your ideal client. They're literally telling you. And like I said, the big mistake is people aren't tracking it. So they're like, I have no leads. I'm like, you have about too many right here, right? And so what GroupTrack will do is it will run an automation. It will track every single person who's commented on your Facebook post. It will automatically reply to them with a number of variations of text. So again, it really keeps that personalization, and it will automatically DM those folks for you. So it'll be like, hey, thank you so much for asking for this weight loss, cheat sheet. And it will send it to them. And then like, by the way, before I send it to you, tell me what's your number one struggle. What have you been doing? What's not working? Blah, 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 right? All of everything we do, every lead magnet, every call to action post, everything we do, none of it is to get them to open the lead magnet. I could literally care less if you open my lead magnet. All I want is a trigger to tell me you are my ideal client because you have a problem I can solve and get me into the DMs with you. That is it.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And for all of you that are like, oh, I don't have time to do that. Well, now you have time.
Can I just ask a really hard question that might get me like everybody hate me? Do you have time to make $1 million is my question. Like that's like, frankly, I love you all, but that's the question, right? And again, I get this question a lot. How much time do I have to work GroupTrack? And I'm like, it's not anything to do with GroupTrack. If you want to get clients on social media, you have to talk to humans, especially in 2025 and beyond. Everybody's using AI. Everybody's doing these things. People crave human connection again. They're over it, right? And they don't want to talk to a bot. They want to talk to a human. And so in my personal opinion, based on stats and data and the success of our clients, like I will scream as loud as I possibly can that the person who takes the time to nurture and serve and support will be the person who wins the client. And I'm always like saying to people, like, if you don't want to follow up with your leads, send them to me and I'll close them for myself because I'm the one who's in the weeds chatting with the people, right? And to give like, a little bit of context, I am the CEO of my business. I am still doing this, right? I see the value that much that I still am in the DMs with people. Now, here's the beautiful thing. With our system GroupTrack, you can add team members. And so they can use your tool, your automations, your tracking, your pipelines, and so forth. And they can do the same thing. So for example, it's not just me sending 150 DMs a day. So is Lindsay. That's 300 messages in a day just for a small team, right? And I also want to share that, right? Our 1.2 million with zero ad spend is with a low ticket offer and 2 people working it. That is it.
Damn, that's right. Raking in that money. Jenna Larson, good stuff. So if you are one of those coaches that's struggling with the financial part and you're like, well, I want to make more money, then spend more time on the things that bring you the money and DM conversations and what bring you the money.
I can't.
Tell me the money.
Like, and I know, like, let's just like address the reality. Sales are down. Like sales are down in 2024, 25 coming in. People are a little bit more hesitant. Like, I don't want to be oblivious to that reality. But like when people are like, oh, I'm going to cancel my CRM so I can go, save money. And I'm like, do you have Netflix? Like with love, do you have Netflix? Because the last thing I'm going to get rid of is a strategy or a system to get more clients, right? Money is where your time or your focus and your time is where your treasures are. Invest in the things that are going to make you the money and get you a return. It's wild. It's wild. Let's talk about Daniel. He pressed one button and he could have closed $57,000, right? We had another client. She made an offer in January. She didn't see the DM. She did our little button, found the unread message in April. She was like, oh crap, right? So she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I missed this message. Closed a 10K sale that day.
Damn.
So like GroupTrack is either 97 or 157. We are going to be changing the price, but if you get in now, you'll be grandfathered. But the reality is like $157 and you just closed 10K from one button. Like it's a stupid no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been using GroupTrack for a long time too. So it's a no-brainer, you guys. If I use it, then y'all got to use it. And for the fitness coaches out there who feel like they're ready to invest in a CRM, what advice would you give on getting started with the system? Something like,
yeah. I mean, if you are like, I need to do the strategy, but I'm not ready for a system, use a Google Sheet. Like I should just make one to give to you guys, honestly, like just track the people for the love, right? Because if you focus on it, you're going to see the reality, which is like, this is like the most undertaught, underutilized thing, unless you're in Tobias's world, because I know he speaks to this, right? And so I would start there if you're like, I can't, right? If you're like, all right, you know what? Here's my reality. And this is what I do, right? My time is where my treasures go. So when I told you that I left my corporate job, I told my husband, I was like, hey, dude, I just quit my job. I'm going to start a company. I'm not exactly sure what I'm even coaching on, but I want to hire this coach and she's 30 grand. And he was like, okay. He's like, well, if anybody can do it, it's you. Okay. And I was like, wait, you're saying yes to the 30K? And he's like, absolutely. Because I know you'll do the work. I was like, oh, shizzle. Now I have to do it, right? Like, no pressure. Here's the reality, guys. That 30K was for, I don't even know how long because I don't do math, but I can tell you it was bi-weekly coaching calls, $22.50 a month, which means each call was what, like a little over $1,000 per hour that I paid this girl, right? But here's the reality. I did not miss a minute of that coaching. I did every damn thing she told me to, and I was prepared because I was like, dude, I'm not playing. So this is the truth with a lot of people. You don't really put your time where your treasures are not, and your treasure is your money. And when you spend the money, you focus on it, right? And so if we're being frank, I would say get GroupTrack, do the work, let the results show you. And, the reality is the majority of people who use our tool, who are people like Tobias, and I'm talking about like the people who do the work, get the results, are like, we're a little bit confused about your pricing. Like, how are you not charging double? And frankly, our competitor that does not even what we do, they charge $497 a month. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so this is the reality. I think that you just do the work, you get the results, and you're like, well, this is a no-brainer. Like, Tobias, you've been with us forever. You probably don't even look at the bill we send you.
No, it's just like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's part of the process. Yeah, it's just one of the things. Yeah, it's definitely worth it, you guys. And if you want to make more money, then you want to systemize this. If you don't want to make more money, or you want to make your process more challenging for you and you want to have more of a headache, then I would suggest not getting GroupTrack, because it's going to do the opposite. It's going to streamline your process. It's going to make it easier for you. Yeah. And you get reverse psychology there,
right? Don't get it. You will not like it. Yeah, don't make money. But the reality is, I do want to be clear. There are some people that are just starting out, and not everybody is as crazy as me to be like, okay, it's 30K. I'm going to go do this crazy thing, right? I realize that, I was fueled by faith. So, we took some chances around here. But the reality is you could do the strategy I'm telling you with a spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. Really get results, see the truth, and then be like, okay, fine, let's automate, let's get systemized, let's organize it, and let's really double down and then bring my team to scale. Done.
Love it. And Jenna, what's the most important piece of advice that you'd give to fitness coaches who are really looking to master their DMs and grow their business, if you can give them one piece of advice?
Yeah. And I think I've maybe said it about 5 times. So that's why I'm like, this is like, if I could lovingly shake you, like imagine my shoulders or my hands are on your shoulders. And I'm like, with love, let me shake you, right? This is what I would say. Act like a human in a digital world, right? Those are the people who are going to win. Get into the DMs. Talk to people like they're human. Don't use marketing speak like, I do this, do da, da, da. I will help you lose pounds in 6 months. No one wants to talk to that. Talk like you are at coffee with your friend and you're like, dude, what is going on? And they're like, man, I'm really struggling. Well, shoot, I'm so sorry. That's really frustrating. I'm not sure if you're aware, but this is what I help people do. Like, I'd love to see how I can support you. What have you been doing? What's working? Shoot, that's not working. Yeah, that's interesting. I see that a lot with my clients too, where they tried this, they tried that, they did this, and it just didn't work. Do you want to kind of get some tips about how I think you could get some results? Really? Sure. Okay. This is what I would do if I were you. Da, 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 da. Do you think that would benefit you? Yeah, I really do. Okay, well, do you want to figure it out on your own, or do you want to see how I can help you with that? Like, do you see how stupid this conversation is that I just had with myself in the coffee shop?
Yeah.
So stupid, right? Yeah. That is the point. It does not need to be. And I think all the gurus are making it so like, talk like a marketer, da, 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 da. I'm like, talk like a freaking human. Mm-hmm. Get the human back into the world. And you will see that people are going to be so receptive because they don't feel like they're being sold to. They feel like they're being served. And when you feel served, you give your money. I had a gal who had bought a coaching program with me. I think she had bought every coaching program I ever did with me. And she called me one day and she was like, hey, Jenna, I'm about to do a coaching program. It's $10,000 and it's on ads and it's for 4 months. She was like, but I was wondering, do you coach on ads? Because if I'm going to give my money to someone, I'd like it to be you. And I was like, that is the greatest compliment I could ever get. Now, unfortunately, I don't coach on ads because we only do organic around here. But the reality is, right, when you serve people at that level and you make them feel loved and supported and that they're a human, not a number, they will pay you, they will come back, they will refer, they will do everything to support you. And it is amazing what that human connection can bring back in return when you give. So give, be a human.
Nice. I love that advice in there. And also, where can fitness professionals connect with you and how can they learn more about this wonderful tool called GroupTrack CRM?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm pretty sure Tobias is going to give you an amazing link so that you guys can get a free trial, test it out, work with us. And then the beautiful thing is, you guys, we have a Facebook community. It's called Organic Sales Systems, powered by GroupTrack. You guys are absolutely welcome to pop in. And guess what? When you join our group, we're going to treat you exactly how I've been treating you here, right? And exactly what I've been telling you. We're going to welcome you to the community. We're going to ask you, did you get our message? We're going to say, what brought you in? What kind of needs do you have? Oh, you want to learn about this? Let me walk you over to my section of the store over here, right? We're going to serve you at a level that is going to be eye-opening, that you're going to want to emulate and give to your own leads. And that's what we hear all the time, right? Like, our best compliment is like, I just want to do what you're doing because I feel so good receiving it, right? And so if you come into our Facebook group, we're going to show you what it looks like. And then you can kind of decide, is this something I want to give my people as well? And you can learn from us. We do free training every single week. Like, we are over serving, I am telling you guys. And so if you guys want to learn, and again, what's so awesome and why we love Tobias and we love to connect with him is because we are so aligned on the strategies we teach. He is teaching a lot of similar strategies, but what he's also doing is making it very fitness focused, which is what we love, right? Like, same strategies, same ideas, but like, here's the version of the fitness world. Mm-hmm. And so that's really cool. If you join our group, you're going to kind of see that happening in there as well. So join the group, definitely grab your link from Tobias. And then of course, if you guys want to follow us on Facebook, like, we DM our followers and we're going to get into the DMs with you. So you can always find me. I'm Jenna Larson on Facebook.
Amazing. And yeah, I'll give you guys a link. I'll put it in the show description down below if you're watching this in here too. And Jenna, thank you so much for sharing your insights with our audience today. You know, fitness business owners out there, if you've been struggling to keep up with your DMs or you're wondering how to turn conversations into clients, this is your wake-up call and to start systemizing your whole process. So to all of you listening, remember, a structured approach, it creates freedom. And with all the right tools and all the right strategies, you can attract more clients, you can close more sales, and grow your dream fitness business. So until next time, stay focused, stay consistent, and keep accelerating. Thanks for tuning in to the FitBiz Accelerator. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a tip or strategy to grow your online fitness business. And if you're ready to fast track your success, don't forget to check out tntfitprocoaching.com. Until next time, stay consistent, stay focused, and keep crushing it.